Hi, this is Michael with MyWebTechGurus.com, and this is video number 4 in our series on LinkedIn, building and maintaining your profile on the social media website, LinkedIn.com. So what we're going to do today is open up our profile here. It says, what are you working on? This is a great way to let people in your network know what you're up to. It's a good way to promote a project that you're working on or an event that you've got coming up. What we're going to do for Lucy is click on what are you working on, and we're going to put in here that Lucy is building my profile on LinkedIn.com and save that. Now here's why you want to do that. When your people in your network sign into their website, the first page they see is this networking website. I'm sorry, network updates screen. And it shows what people in their network are up to. For instance, here's Kyle Nagels, and Kyle is working on revisions to his website, okay, and he's off to the lake on Friday. Kyle's recent connections. Kyle recently connected to Janine Rand. Okay, and here's Michael Nagels. Shows Michael Nagels is, oddly enough, working on video training for LinkedIn. And it shows Michael's recent connections. And back to our profile. And over on the left, you've got these three options always. We're going to click View My Profile. And this is what people would see if they were to go and look at your profile right now. And what it's going to show on here is that some of these things that we put in: current, past positions, education, how many connections you've got, and what you're working on. Lucy Strother, building my profile on LinkedIn.com. Okay, so we're going to go back and edit our profile a little bit more and try to build this up. As always, we can go over here and see how far along we are and see some tips on things that we can do. So it says here that we can get 5% for adding a summary. Here's what a summary is. A summary is just many salespeople refer to it as an elevator speech. In just a few seconds, tell us about yourself. Okay, professional experience and goals. I have been a dog all of my life. I am currently working on ways to chase my tail without getting dizzy. Okay, specialties. Bones. It's all about the bones. We can save these changes. And now let's go back over. First of all, look at this. We jumped 10%. We went from 75%, I'm sorry, from 75% to 85% complete. Okay, and we're also going to go over here and view our profile to see what other people would see. And if you go down a little bit further, here's that summary. Been a dog all my life, currently working on ways to chase my tail without getting dizzy. Specialties, bones. It's all about the bones. Okay, so now this is what's growing on Lucy's profile. Let's go back to edit my profile, and here's one more thing we can do: ask for a recommendation. Now we're going to go really into depth on this in the LinkedIn 201 series, but what I'll tell you in a heartbeat is recommendations and LinkedIn go hand in hand together. What recommendations are little referrals, little reviews that people will give you, endorsements talking about work you've done or connections that you've made with people. You not only want to ask for the recommendations, but you also want to give recommendations. So some good karma there. Before we ask for one, we're going to go ahead and give one. We're going to give a recommendation to someone in our connections list, and his name is Kyle Nagels. and we're going to recommend him as a colleague. Click on continue. We're basing our recommendation on working with Kyle. Okay. At the time we worked with Kyle, I was the Chief Morale Officer at MyWebTechGurus.com, and Kyle's title at that time was Technical Support Specialist at MyWebTechGurus.com. And now it says, write a brief recommendation for Kyle. Recommendations you write will appear on your profile. So what we're going to say is Kyle is a great kid. He walks me a couple of times a day and is always ready when I want to go for a ride in the car. Highly recommend Kyle as a dog owner. Okay. It says a message will be sent to Kyle with your recommendation. We're going to click send. Look at our profile. Okay. Now, if we're lucky, Kyle, when he gets that recommendation, he'll also write a recommendation for us. But what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and ask him for a recommendation. And we're asking for this recommendation based on being the Chief Morale Officer. And decide who you'll ask, and we're going to ask Kyle Nagels. We start typing his name, it pops up there. And we're going to ask him if he can endorse us. Puts a little canned message in there. We can edit that or send it as it is. And we have sent that, so now we've asked for Kyle to write us a recommendation. Now, the way that we'll know that Kyle has written a recommendation for us, or anybody else has written one, is it'll show up in our inbox over here. If you notice right now I've got one message. I'm going to click on that. Here's Kyle Nagels, and it says Kyle Nagels has recommended you on LinkedIn. I'll open this up, and it says, you know, little quick note from Kyle, and it's got the details of the recommendation. It says Lucy's our favorite beagle, and no other beagle compares to Lucy. We're going to read that over and make sure we like it okay. And because we like it, we're going to go ahead and put it on our profile. If someone writes a recommendation that you don't like, we can request a replacement, or we can just hide it and not say anything to them. It's kind of a judgment call on your part. But this recommendation looks just fine to Lucy, so we're going to go ahead and accept that. See my profile as other people would see it, and it shows recommendations. One person has recommended Lucy. That recommendation is going to show up right down here. It's going to show that Kyle wrote it, and Lucy's our favorite beagle. No other beagle compares to Lucy. Shows that right down here on my profile. Okay, so now if we go back to edit my profile, we are up to 90% completeness. Good. One last thing that we want to do before we close this is take a look at our public profile. If you notice, when you create your profile, it creates a link for you that you can give to people, and it uses just a generic code that it creates, but you can customize that. So what we're going to do is customize our link to say Lucy S. Click on set address, and whoops, couldn't use that. Somebody else is already using it, so we're going to use her whole name, Lucy Struther. That one worked. So now if we go back to view my profile, now we have a quick link that we can give people. You may want to use this in your email address or on your Twitter page or something like that. You can say, hey, I've got a profile on LinkedIn now. Here's the link to it. That is going to conclude this video, and we'll talk to you soon.